All right, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Friday night, and I wanted to do a recap, Friday night recap of this month, because this year, 2025, already is off to a bad start. Horrible start. And, I've seen some discussions online, and I saw some people were saying that so far there's only been four fatalities. I've seen most people say four, but it's actually five. And that only deals with the United States. That does not include other countries. But dog attacks are sky high, and we're only like halfway through the month. That's kind of ridiculous. That's very much ridiculous. But yeah, let's get into it. Shout out to everybody. I see Nikki, CTRL Muttbusters Cruello in the building. We got Bark Busters in the house. We got Buster Gundo in the building. Now, I'm sure most of you heard of this case. One you're looking at the top. The woman in St. Louis, Missouri. That story surfaced a day or two ago. And this is the lady who was deaf. Did I even share that? I don't even think I shared this story. I may have talked about it with the members. But this lady was deaf. Okay? And I cannot imagine how much of a role that played in her fatality. Shout out to Nikki, War on Dogs, K Nunn in the building. Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all's weekend off to a good start. Yeah, this lady, and this is a pack of dogs, took place around 11:40 p.m. Okay, that's one fatality. You got the 8-year-old, Michael Millet. All right, what was the lady's name? It's very appropriate, especially today. People are very inhumane as I speak. The world is getting more and more savage. More and more savage. Now, we joke around with savage this, savage that. We probably shouldn't. Because we're slowly becoming more and more savage. I always say, be careful what you say. Be careful of what you call yourself or label yourself. If somebody could get the young lady's name in St. Louis, Missouri, who passed, I'd appreciate it. We had Michael Millet, 8-year-old, who was killed by a dog. And I hate that every report, they say that he died or was killed trying to pet the dogs. They make it sound like he went up to the dogs. They desperately want that. That's what they want. For everybody to believe that the boy did something that he wasn't supposed to do. And that it was actually the boy's fault. That's why they always phrase it like that. They phrase it and they choose their words carefully. They phrase it like that for a reason. I am not making something out of nothing. They keep repeating, oh, he died trying to pet the dogs. We know, okay, we're not stupid. We know how free roaming, off leash dogs roaming around the community, we all know how they behave. As soon as they see especially a small boy, they're going to run up to him. They run up to everybody and violate everybody's personal space. All right. Okay. So we had the woman in Missouri. We had Michael Millett. We also have here recently, right, a lady who was deleted by her own dog, if I'm not mistaken. Volusia, that was the 8-year-old. You had the 3-year-old. The 3-year-old a couple weeks ago. I know you all remember that story. I made 2-3 videos about that, where I was dealing with the mother of the 3-year-old. Okay, and this is all in January, people. This is ridiculous. See, look at that. See how they put it in the headline? Florida boy killed by dogs while petting them. Get out of here. These sick nutters, they know what they're doing. Lord help these people. Okay, where are we at? Tioga County, there was a fatality. This surfaced a few hours ago. I know some of you heard about this one. Again, that's in New York. Appalachian, New York. Tioga County. Surfaced 5 hours ago, or at least the report surfaced 5 hours ago. This was a fatality. And we're going to get into this one. Because apparently she acquired this dog and had it since it was a puppy. Okay. And this 4 days ago, a man in his 50s died after he was attacked. And this is in Alton. Where is Alton? Not quite sure where Alton is. But this is ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. Now, some of you may know that recently the attorney of why do I always forget his name? Kenneth the attorney. That's what I'm going to call him. Kenneth the attorney. In the comment section to one of his videos, in response to someone's comment, pointed out that the author of Animals 24/7, he rated them, gave them high marks, and said it's a very credible website. So I'm here now. I've shared several stories from Animals 24/7. And they pointed out how in 2024, just last year, there was 71 fatalities. How long is the United States going to stay silent about this? Isn't this it's so inhumane how our statistics have blown up. They basically doubled within the past, I would say 10 years. And we don't hear anything from our leaders. You don't hear no governors. You don't hear nothing. No senators, governors, mayors. You don't hear nobody talking about it. They just don't care. The silence here in the United States is a crime. The silence is a crime. 71 fatalities last year. That is ridiculous. And you telling me that this is the height at the same time attacks are through the roof like this? You're telling me that we're also in the height of hauling these things into schools, hospitals, everywhere you could possibly think of. We need massive pushback against dog culture immediately. How crazy is that? At the very point in time that we should examine dog culture more and be more critical of it than we ever have, at least in response to these attacks, at the same time, we're behaving in the dumbest manner we've ever behaved, doing the opposite of how we should respond to this. Pretty pathetic. That's pathetic. Now, shout out to Reddit. I'm visiting Reddit more and more often. A lot of clever, brilliant people in there. A lot of people who follow my channel also leave comments. Shout out to all of you. Brilliant posts and statements all throughout Reddit. Y'all be sure to check it out. You gather a lot of information. It's like a library. Look at it like the library. But this report is about the woman that I mentioned who was killed by her own dog. Now, I don't know who wrote this. It says not official, but as of October 2021, the victim had owned a 2-year-old, excuse me, American Bulldog, which was acquired as a puppy in 2019. Okay, the attack would be extraordinary in any other breed, but the circumstances. Okay, this is the actual police report from Tioga County. Found that they gave her a name, Darnell A. Greeno, was attacked by her dog, sustained multiple injuries. And then the dog attacked a bystander after it killed its own owner that raised it from a puppy, people. Raised it from a puppy. These are very common stories. Before any dog lover jumps up, talks about how rare, oh, it's so rare. No, it's not rare. This is extremely common. It is as common, I would say, as attacks by dogs from a shelter. These worthless mutants, they're ungrateful. And they don't adapt. Which, lets you know they're just parasites. Soulless, heartless parasites. They should be the nicest to human beings, seeing that we're the only ones who've taken care of their worthless trash genealogy ever since they've been on this planet. Pretty pathetic. This woman was 52 years old, and look at that. Look at that. Shout out to them for crossing out the faces. That's the dog when it was a puppy. This is why I say, these people look at look at cute puppy. No, euthanize it. Euthanize it. This ain't a place for emotions. This is not the time to be talking about how it's sweet and warm and fuzzy and cute. Get out of here. And this, you can see, is the same dog, but much older. In that same worthless mutt. And that it is kind of crazy when you think about it. What a ungrateful piece of trash. Why would it attack its food provider? This woman that has raised it from a puppy. Why would it do that? and attack her to the death? I mean, that is a shocking, that is a shocking level of ungratefulness. Y'all talking about loyalty and all this nonsense. I mean, talk about being unappreciative. This gives it a whole new definition. And me personally, it makes me despise dogs even more. That's a huge factor why I hate them so much. Huge reason why I hate them so much. Just for anyone who may have been wondering, they don't appreciate nothing that you do for them. Nothing. And it burns me up because I know virtually all nutters believe that they do appreciate that they give them food. I know all of you dog lovers, you think your dog appreciates that you give it food. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Brainless beast is the only thing it's thinking about is eating more. I don't appreciate you. Except that these are not human. And they don't think like us. They don't think nothing like us. In fact, they think the opposite of us. Everything you think that might be going through that much brain is not going through its brain. What a despicable piece of trash. Now, had y'all euthanized it when it was a worthless puppy mutt, this wouldn't have happened. Now look at this. Reminder to all, we do not allow or tolerate victim blaming. Now, let me ask a question. This woman was killed by her own dog. Whose fault was it? Isn't that a fair question? Another way to put it, who was responsible for this? That's important. You know, if you don't want this to happen again, we need to figure out who's responsible and what did they do. Well, obviously, she acquired it. She allowed it to live in her home. She trusted it. Why should we ignore the truth? Why should we ignore any facts at all? Again, this ain't the place for emotion. That's how we got in the situation, in the position that we're in now. Following emotion. Dog culture operates almost purely on emotions. And we are as strong as we are, in my opinion, because we don't. We deal with facts. We deal with evidence, logic, common sense. And that's common sense. Any social movement that operates on emotion is going to be full of flaws, full of lies and untruths. And the scary thing, they've based laws on these people's emotionally driven babble. And it's pretty much, structures the police department, the courtrooms, and everybody under this nutter emotional sort of spell. No more. We're offering, the pushback necessary, and I can't wait for more people to get on board. It is beyond time. Shout out to Dogs Ruin Everything, aka K Nunn in the super chat. So have you ever done a video entirely on victim blaming and how it related to dog culture? Yeah, that is a good idea. That is a good idea. I don't like when people say that. You know, no victim blaming, no victim blaming. The young lady here was obviously the victim. But the thing is, she caused it. It could have been the kid or one of the kids, that would have been worse. Don't you think it's important to find out exactly what happened and how it happened? That is a good idea. That would make an excellent live stream or video. You know, in times like this, situations like this, you should never, ever, ever refuse to look at anything. Nothing is off limits. If it has to do with preventing this from happening in the future, and especially prevent it from happening to a much more vulnerable victim, well, you better scour through the evidence with a fine-tooth comb. I didn't even read this here. To all people on here who've shown their love and respect, I am grateful my wife was killed by her family dog, which was a 6-year-old American Bulldog. Any of you that know us know how much she loved that dog. I bet she did. And she should have listened to us. Don't love it. Stop loving it. That would have saved her life. Oh, it's so disappointing. It's that simple. All you got to do is deal with reality. Don't love these things. Don't open yourself up to these things. Despise them. They are your enemy. Isn't this proof? This thing was never her friend, never loved her. And notice how he said that everybody knew how much she loved the dog, not how much the dog loved her, because it didn't. Why love something that's incapable of loving you back? You only open the door for things like this to happen. Any creature willing and able to do this don't deserve love. They don't deserve our love, our passion. How many times do you have to prove that? This is sick stuff, man. Let me see if I can. No, I can't do that. She loved that dog. He was spoiled rotten by her. And for the last 6 years, she took him out on a leash to go to the bathroom. And then he would sit by her side till I got home from work. Listen to that, dog lovers. This is an excellent learning lesson for dog lovers, because you all have these experiences too. He said, I can't explain it, but for someone to say she probably deserved it or he was mistreated in any way, please come find me. The address is up above. My name is, listen, buddy, I believe you. I believe you 100%. I do not believe she abused that dog at all. I believe she raised it with hugs and kisses, snuggles, rubs, belly rubs, and all of that. And this is the norm. I would say a huge percentage of dogs that attack were raised just like this. Again, I don't understand this. Why don't y'all dislike something this ungrateful? I mean, what more does it have to do? Well, somebody hit it on the nail. Shout out to Mountain Heat, 5 in a row. Yeah. In January. I pointed out 3 last week alone. So yeah, dog lovers. And I like to get into stuff like this because y'all know how those Facebook groups are. You be critical of dogs and question, the safety hazard. They'll post images like this. Does this dog look like a killer to you? Boy, they will spam you with images like this. Does this dog look harmful? Yeah, it does. Is this a monster killer? Yeah, it is. Goofy photos, videos don't mean nothing. Boy, oh boy, when will these people learn? Okay, this is actually the story with the deaf lady. Did y'all hear the Humane Society? Oh, as a matter of fact, we need to go to that story. The Humane Society came out and responded to the 8-year-old. The 8-year-old who was attacked and died as a result. Why do they do this? Why do they do this? Okay, we'll come back to this. This is the woman in Missouri who was attacked that I mentioned earlier. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Why? Why do they do this to themselves? Check this out. This surfaced a couple days ago. Oh, don't fail me now. Okay, we're going to get rid of this. Yeah, I'm on Microsoft Edge. And up until this point, it has worked better. Here, let me refresh this. Worked better than Google Chrome. Check this out.
Really tugging on him, please hurry.
Newly released 911 calls of the moment 2 dogs killed an 8-year-old Florida boy. Tonight, we're waiting to find out if the dogs responsible for attacking that child will be euthanized. Our Julie Solomon spoke to local animal advocates who say the responsibility lies with the dog's owner.
I'm chasing the dogs down the street. I'm trying to stay with them.
Once again, they reach out to dog lovers.
Body camera video shows a Volusia County deputy chasing 2 dogs after they viciously attacked and killed an 8-year-old boy in Central Florida.
We are going to do everything humanly possible to hold the owner of these dogs responsible, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure that these animals are destroyed.
Authorities say prior to the attack, the boy was riding his bicycle and tried petting one of the dogs.
See? That's what I'm talking about right there. He was riding his bike and tried petting one of the dogs. Stop with that. His dogs ran up to him.
Officers with Volusia County Animal Services arrived in the neighborhood north of DeLand and captured the 2 dogs, one described by authorities as a pit bull and another as a mixed breed.
Get back in there! Get back!
Reagan Blessinger with the Humane Society of Tampa Bay says responsibility lies with the owner of the dogs.
To be a responsible dog.
No, shut up, lady. Why do they keep saying that? As if we don't know that.
Dog owner, pet owner,
But you know what they're trying to say. It's not the dog's fault. Yes, it is. Look at all these scars on her face. I wonder what they're from.
Pet owner, but specifically dog owner, you have to know what your dog can and cannot do. If your dog does not care for children, know that.
How would you know that? How would you know that? Especially when they will, out of nowhere, attack youngsters. What are you saying? That a dog owner has to go through that experience once before? How would they know it unless their dog attacked a kid at some point in the past? And what if it never has? That's stupid. He's talking as if you're just supposed to magically know. Listen to this. Listen to what else she says.
If your dog does not care for children, know that. If your dog cannot be out in the public, know that.
What? What dog can't be outside? What is she talking about? Can't be out in the public. What are you talking about? This is that word salad that I talk about. They are real good at this. And they make you think they're actually saying something when they're not. They're just hitting you with word salad.
Cannot do. If your dog does not care for children, know that. If your dog cannot be out in the public, know.
And maybe they do know that. You big dummy. What good is that going to do if your dog simply escapes? They could have had their dog in the backyard and knew full well that it don't like kids. But the dog escaped on its own. I've mentioned this several times. Just because you know something like that doesn't mean that the dog can't attack a kid. And the solution is still get rid of it.
Know that.
She also says if you come across a dog you do not know, pay attention to a dog's behavior.
Dogs can tell you when they aren't comfortable with certain things. They can get really still. Their tail goes straight. Their ears go back.
Once again, people, once again, more rhetoric. You're supposed to study a dog's body language. Most attacks, you don't get a chance to read all that stuff. Most attacks, you turn around, the dog is charging at you. All that body language that you're talking about is done and over with, and it's in attack mode. This is useless, worthless advice. That's why you never hear of anyone using this nonsense. You never heard of one of these nutters putting a stop to an attack before it happened because they saw these stupid signs that they're talking about. More word salad. It's nothing but con artist rhetoric.
Of course, we have the verbal signs. They might start barking. They might start growling. They might start panting pretty heavy.
Okay, and then what you supposed to do? Like I've had several times. Okay,
Pretty heavy.
You see those signs. She's talking as if the dogs will display these behaviors for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. These signs or behaviors you're talking about, lady, if it happens, if they display it, will only display it for a split second. The ears go down and boom, they bare their teeth and they're in attack mode. You're under attack. Just for a split second they do all this stuff. And I don't even like going over this, lady. Just shut up. You a lying con artist. A lying con artist, and you know it. I'm not even going to go over and try to refute each one of your stupid points, because you know you full of it. I'm covered in tattoos. Get out of here.
Panting pretty heavy.
Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood says pet owners have a responsibility to make sure their dogs are not running loose and they're not a danger to others.
That another stupid thing to say? As if these people are letting their dogs run loose on purpose. Now, I know some of these lunatics are. But usually when this happens, the owners come and say they didn't even know. Looked out back, the dogs were no longer there. Looked out towards the back of the home, they saw the dog darted out of the door. Maybe busted through a door. They do it all the time. Why do y'all keep saying that? To make sure your dog's not roaming, as if they're all purposely letting them roam. These things have a brain of their own, a body of their own. They do what they want, which means you have no business possessing it, and you should get rid of it. Y'all keep going over that stupid rhetoric because you're tap dancing around the obvious solution, which is to get rid of them. Know your dog, know it, don't let it run at large. Shut up. Oh, I'm sick of these people. Just shut up with that.
The Humane Society agrees.
This isn't a breed problem. This is that specific dog, and that's...
No, Cal. No, shut up. There is a breed problem. Bully breeds. The statistics they produce are extremely disproportionate. End of story. There ain't nothing you can say that will change that fact. So there is a breed issue. You con artist. You lying, deceptive nutter. Man. Now this story made me feel better. Just like with the electric current in Washington, D.C., roasting dogs to death. We have this case where multiple dogs die under mysterious circumstances at Waddington. Okay, I don't know where this is, so I'm about to look it up. And we are using Bing. Okay, that's not the United States. Where is this? North. Okay. Oh, it's in England. It's in England. Shout out to England. Yeah. Multiple dogs die unexpectedly after quickly falling ill in recent days. Number of them died recently. Dogs experienced vomiting, bloody stool, frothing, convulsing, though the symptoms were not the result of attacks by other animals or humans. The dogs all passed within hours of onset of symptoms, though one dog did survive. The village conducted testing of the water and sewage and found nothing to be out of the ordinary. Another mysterious deletion of the most problematic, despicable, I mean, we may as well say it now. Dogs are the most problematic entities in our communities. Bar none. Hands down. They're the most problematic. The crimes that they carry out can't be compared to the crimes carried out by any other group. There is no sect of criminals that operate like this. I was just talking to an old friend the other day. We was talking about gang violence, and remember, there are a lot of different gangs here in the United States. I'm a black American. Black Americans make up, I think, 48% of all gangs here in the United States. But you don't hear about these gangs shooting random people. The people that they go after, it's almost always something very personal, someone that they know personally, that they have a personal problem with. They don't just go around and targeting innocent, vulnerable people. That's worse. That's a much worse crime. So this is an irrefutable fact. They're the most problematic and the most evil. They're the most evil. In our communities, we have to deal with, on a regular basis, we have to deal with our young being mutilated. Sometimes they survive, sometimes not. Tens of thousands need reconstructive surgery. And there's only one creature carrying out these attacks, and it's dogs. The most despicable. I mentioned the other day, I think, maybe I was with the members, everything's reversed. And dog culture is the most reversed. That's extremely backwards. Calling these things our best friends, that's the opposite of the truth. Seriously. And, I think that's irrefutable. These things are our worst enemies as far as enemies that are non-human. What other non-human enemy is worse than dogs? Go ahead. I'm all ears. Hit me with it. None. Man, some of these stories, some of these reports are difficult to share. They're difficult to share. I don't see how people deal with it. Well, I'm sick of it. Sick of it. I don't know how many of y'all checked out this website. The writer she's a unique writer. I think it's a female, right? Yeah, Merritt Clifton. I think it's a female. Got a unique writing style. I used to read this a lot. Well, and I do every now and then, but I used to like binge read the articles on this website. I like how they compile different stories on one page, but it's very much anti-dog, or let me say critical of dog culture, very much so. If you haven't known already, this is Animals 24/7. I'll go ahead and share a link for that. It's bad already, people. 2025 just getting started, and we, like I said, halfway through the month. In the United States, we already 5 fatalities. Boy, oh boy. Just think about it. If there's 10 a month, where is that going to put us? Wouldn't surprise me. Have we cracked 100 yet? The highest was, I think, 80 something. The highest 80, and that was just recently, maybe a couple years ago, right? I think it was 2022, 2021. It was like 81 fatalities. And crickets, this huge increase where they've more than doubled in some cases compared to some years. Crickets. You don't hear nothing from nobody. The only thing you hear from people is how we should love dogs more. Come get yours. The shelter's overflowing. We'll waive the adoption fee. No thanks. And the fact that it's gotten cold, it hasn't changed anything. You know how they say, oh, dog attacks get worse in the summer? They even tried to blame it on the heat and the sun ray, the glare from the sun. Oh, that's why there's more attacks in the summertime. And they say the heat makes them agitated. No. I don't detect any slowing down of dog attacks. And remember, dog attacks in 2020 increased. Why? Because people were inside the home more often, just like in the winter. People inside the home. And what are you hearing about? People being attacked inside the home. Some by dogs that they've raised from puppies. No surprise at all. Well, let me see. Let's say Fox News. Let's just say, or Fox, CNN, one of those media outlets. Do y'all think that they will ever say anything about dog attacks and how, talk about how it's a problem and something needs to be done? Talk about how, there should be bans rather than removing bans, actually putting bans in place. Will they ever even have the discussion? As we saw, media outlets in the UK, they at least talk about it. And I imagine that those are the major media outlets. They will have a whole 15-minute segment dedicated to dog attacks, how it's a problem and something needs to be done, going over possible solutions and whatnot. They don't even do that here in the United States. Here, they don't even want to talk about it. Okay. So no matter how bad it gets, you're just never going to talk about it? It's despicable. And it's a bad look. It's a bad look for us as a country. So, what can we do, man? We got to start sending letters to the governors, the mayors, and everybody. We have to start doing that. Animal Control was talking about putting together something that we can all send to our state legislators and whatnot. We got to get on it. I know some people look at that as boring work. Hey, make it fun. Put your headphones on. We got to come together, get on the same page on something, and all go after our states, right? Our state. Now, our numbers are low now. Well, you know what? It may not be. It may not be low as we think. Put it like that. You look at dog free, you look at the Reddit groups, there's a lot of people. Or put it like this, when you compare us to other groups who might do something like that, we might be much larger than other groups who actually had success. Well, we most definitely got to start doing something. It's getting out of hand. But, I would imagine that the abundance of reports should be enough. Right? The actual reports, these stories. But they don't even want to talk about it. Dogs can do no wrong. Listen, I'm taking advantage of Donald Trump being in office. With him back in office, I'm going to be more anti-dog than I ever have before. Now's probably the best time to shake things up a little bit and make some real complaints out here. I don't know. I just feel like I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking. I want to actually start doing things. I know our numbers are low, but man, this is too much. It's too much. And there's too many of us to just be sitting around talking and doing nothing but talking. We need to start making some power moves. I was looking into those billboards the other day, man. We're gonna have to get on top of that. Let's come up with what we're gonna write on it. Get a price, and they're not that expensive. They're not that expensive. Maybe $1,000, $1,500. You could get a big one, put it next to a major highway for 30 days or a month or whatever it is. Yeah, man. We got to start doing something. So I'm going to brainstorm with the members. We're going to come up with some ideas. And listen, it can be we all live in different areas. You find a good spot, you find a good price in your area, throw up you a GoFundMe. We contribute, and you get that billboard popping. I want to go for the throat, man. Now, I'm gonna stick with the bully breed, the anti-bully breed type of ads, because they're so vulnerable. They're so easy. They're easy targets, and we're far more likely to get support. You know what I'm saying? If we attack bully breeds, and I'm not gonna be playing around with this pit bull. I'm not gonna say pit bull. It's bully breeds. The problem is bully breeds, and they all know it. If it's not bully breeds, then name them all. But it's too many to name. And we know how they are. You ban 8 out of 10. They're going to use those last 2 and make 8 different more types of mutants. Give them all a different name. That's why I say the problem is bully breed. It's a fighting breed. It's a fighting gene. It makes sense to get rid of that gene. That the bull breed shouldn't be up in society, period. No matter if it's a cane corso, get rid of cane corso. Those cane corsos quite often more dangerous than pit bulls. All of them. Boxers. If it got bully in it, it needs to go. Even the pugs, them little things, they're so immoral and deformed, they shouldn't exist anyway. And attacking these people on a moral level, because it's extremely immoral, the way they keep these deformed mutants artificially, make them copulate and impregnate them. Why? Just to have more deformed, mutated animals. That's sick. It's not funny or cute. These things can hardly walk, can hardly breathe, can hardly do all kinds of things. Get slip, hip dysplasia, all kinds of nonsense. You're constantly back and forth at the vets. They've monetized it. They want to sell you a mutant, and you're gonna be back and forth to the vet the whole time you have it, because it's so sickly and deformed. Stop it already. We need more pushback. Oh yes, it's time to crank it up. So y'all be safe, and thank you all for joining me on this late night creeper, listening to me vent, and I feel better. Hope you all do as well, and I hope you all are able to join me on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.